the only thing on this, we want to make sure we keep this in
Good, how are you?
time limit. I think we'll cover that.
Yeah, I
More people show up.
It'd be kind of nice if it would get there, but
You could just ask.
we'll be going a couple extra weeks, I think.
Soccer to go to your time, man. This whole meeting's got to be pretty fast.
You got a coach tonight?
Yeah, I'm used to little
Pretty
kids.
cold outside.
It'll be fine. I'm pretty warm blood.
I'm not worried about you.
They wear like winter jackets and stuff.
Bubble wrap them.
No. So we'll call to order this meeting for Monday, September 20th. Carl, would you start us off with a roll call, please?
Councilmember Ronayne.
Present.
Remley.
Present.
Lunsman.
Present.
Reif.
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
Reinbold.
Present.
Langer.
Present.
Rux.
Present.
Mayor Schauneman.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. First order of business will be to approve this week's agenda. I haven't heard of any changes, so I would take a motion to approve it as it stands.
So moved. Second.
Motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Reif. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got the approval of last minutes of the last meeting, which was on August 30th as well as September 7th. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes as printed?
Move to approve.
Second.
The motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Remley. Does anyone have any changes for those minutes? All right, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carried. Next, we've got the open forum. We've got one speaker signed up, and that is Mr. Kyle Deutsch. Kyle, there's a podium there with a little microphone. There should be a green light on the device itself. Why don't you try to limit yourself to just a couple of minutes, if you could, please, to keep things moving forward. And you're here to talk about the two-way Main Street project. What have you got?
Correct, yeah. My name is Kyle Deutsch, like Mayor Schauneman said, and I was just here to give my 2 cents on why I'm in favor of the two-way Main Street. My first point is just that I'm a homeowner on the north side of Aberdeen, and I frequent downtown, and it just is kind of an inconvenience to basically have to drive around Main Street to come back around to get to a restaurant, a bar, a shop, anything like that. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels that way. It'll obviously be a major increase in traffic, and that can only benefit businesses and that are downtown. My other main point is that Aberdeen has a shortage of roads that go from the far south end to the north end of town. And so if we open up Main so the people coming from the north can head south, that'll add another road that goes from one end of the town to the other. And then one of the main arguments I've seen is about backing out. And to be honest, I think backing out's kind of a pain right now the way it is. With people all going the same direction, they just feel like they can fly in between lanes, and it doesn't seem like people really follow the 15 mile an hour that often. So I think if we have it going both directions, it'll definitely slow people up, along with the added stop signs and stuff like that. I think it'll definitely make backing up easier. And then my last thing is just that downtown, even half a year ago or so, it kind of seemed like it was a dying downtown. And with some big additions, it really seems to be upticking and stuff. And I think a two-way Main Street will just add to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Appreciate you sharing with us here tonight. He's the only guy that I had listed to speak, so we will move along from our open forum to our consent calendar, where we've got 6 items of routine city business. Can I get a motion to approve our consent calendar?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Lunsman and a second from Councilman Rux. Does anyone have anything on any of these items? Otherwise, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. We'll move on to old business. The first order of old business is the second reading of ordinance 210902, which is the city budget ordinance. And Joe, anything new on that one?
No, nothing new. Just to recap, As far as expenses, it's a $77.8 million budget, and as far as revenues, it's a 77.9, so it is balanced, and we haven't heard any feedback since the first reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Rife and a second from Councilman Remley. Does anyone have anything to vocalize on this issue before we take our final vote? All right, then, Carl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the second reading of ordinance 210903, which supplements the 2021 budget for Parks, Rec, and Forestry Department activities. Carl, what have you got?
Thank you, Mayor. There have been no changes since first reading, so we recommend approval.
Move approval. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Remley. Any questions, comments, concerns from the council? Otherwise, Carl, roll call vote on that second reading then, please.
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got new business. Item number 1 is the public hearing on the petition to vacate the public right-of-way described as 60 feet wide Villa Drive public right-of-way beginning at south side of 27th Avenue Northeast, extending 369.2 feet adjacent to lots 8 through 15 and lots 22 through 33 on Block 2 of the Dakota Estates Second Subdivision. This would be the possible approval of a resolution to vacate that right-of-way. And since Brett isn't here, Ken, are you going to tell us all about that?
Sure can. The
Thanks, sir.
applicant is submitting this petition to vacate a portion of public right-of-way with the intention of combining the right-of-way with the adjacent property to allow for future residential development. This section of Villa Drive is unimproved and does not contain any public utilities. Staff have reviewed this petition to vacate and concur with its approval.
Move to approve. Second.
A motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Ronayne. Any questions for Ken on this particular project? All right, then, Carl, would you give us a roll call vote?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Item number 2, new business, is the public hearing regarding the 2022 capital improvement plan, possible approval of the resolution 210902R, adopting that capital improvement plan with or without amendment. And to talk about that is City Manager Joe Gaa. Joe, what have you got?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is kind of a partner with the operating budget. We know the 22 expenses are in there, but it also includes, it's an update to the 5-year capital plan as well. So just to throw a few little things out there, that the total capital improvement plan for the next 5 years, 22 through 26, as it's estimated right now, is a little over $151.5 million. To kind of put that in perspective, normally it's around each year ends up being about 20, 25. So for 22, we know this is firmed up going into the budget is 23,550. We know that's a good number. Subsequent years, one of them's 32, one of them's 24, one of them's just under 21. And then the last one, which is the farthest out, is over 50. We know that one will tighten up quite a little bit. But of note, probably the biggest share of this, we know that we pay a lot of debt service, but new debt, or new expenses are usually related to the streets. And for 2022, that's $7.1 million. So that's good news. Our folks like to know that the public works and engineering folks are getting street work done, and we have quite a bit planned in that budget.
Thank you, Joe. And so for the year that's relatively a little bit more eminent, that's $30-some million. Where is that money coming from?
It's probably not far off. We'll need to cut a few things down. What happens with some of those is we have X amount of dollars of projects on our dream list. We know we'll just have to make some cut back. But we all are seeing our sales tax dollars creep up a little bit. So moving up closer into that 30 range might not be that hard.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ronan and a second from Councilman Remley. Have we got any other questions for the city manager on our capital improvement plan? All right, then Carl, would you give me a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the resolution providing for emergency procurement of essential supplies. This would be the possible approval of that resolution, 210903R, and Ron Wager will tell us about that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The city occasionally runs into issues with the depletion or shortage of what we would determine to be essential supplies for purposes of city operations. There are two ways to solve the problem. One is to hopefully be able to beef up inventory. We were able to do that, I think, with road salt, for example, road de-icing salt. We were able to increase our inventories and avoid those kinds of problems. But we noticed, particularly with COVID last year, that we were having issues with occasional supply problems, shortages in our water treatment. And so what I have prepared here is a resolution that would identify those supplies that we would consider to be essential supplies and allow us to kind of to expedite the process for emergency procurement of those particular supplies, move quicker on getting that, and have a lot more confidence in the legality of going through that process. So the resolution that I prepared identifies those, and I would also inform the council that on occasion, maybe on an annual basis, we would look at updating the exhibit to the resolution, Exhibit A, to identify those essential supplies. We do think that, again, as operations change, some of these items will probably come off of the supply list. So we would recommend approval.
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Ronayne. And so the way that you see this thing working is basically just going to expedite the process of placing these orders.
Right,
So
we
that's-
still need to comply with procurement laws as we do this, but this allows us to expedite that, move more confidently in moving forward, accepting maybe the other high bidder that was involved in that process, or if not, being able to go out to find other vendors, but just identifying those types of supplies that we consider that would fall under emergency procurement.
Any other questions for the city attorney? Otherwise, Carl, would you give us a roll call vote for that resolution, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the resolution granting the approval to declare items as surplus property and to authorize for their disposal. This would be Resolution 210904R. And Joe, what have you got?
Yes, thank you. This is something that in the past, the city has done an annual surplus, a live auction, which takes quite a bit of time to get ready for. In 2020, we didn't have one because of COVID restrictions. And so now we're facing 2 years of surplus property. But one of the things that a lot of cities and counties are doing is going to an online platform. There's several companies that do this, and that's what we're looking at doing. You have in front of you a list, and again, this is a lengthy list. Kind of how this works is if departments have something they don't need anymore, they put it on the list. If another department sees that they might be able to use that, then we can transfer the departments, and what's left remains on this list, and we'll surplus that. It has no need for the city anymore. But a couple of changes, I'm going to ask you to make a couple of amendments tonight. On the first page, item number 12, we'd like to remove, that's a 2008 single axle dump truck. We've decided to keep that at the moment. So that will come off the list, and we'd like to add an item that just came up here recently of 4 Daktronic LED softball scoreboards that are going to come down from the softball complex. So we'd like to have those 2 amendments, and then possibly if this online stuff works, once we get the large stuff out of here, we may do it more than once a year, maybe 2-3 times a year. to keep our facilities from getting cluttered with surplus stuff. So staff recommends approval.
I would move to approve with the two changes mentioned by the city manager, and I see the engineer has his hand up.
Could we add one more amendment? Mr. Gaa was not aware of this, but number 5, which is the Wildcat loader mount blower, Public Works has graciously accepted it for an additional blower in our fleet from the airport, so we would prefer not to surplus that.
And that would be part of my motion.
Second.
A motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilman Rux to approve this resolution with several amendments as stated in this dialogue. Anyone have anything to contribute on this one? All right then, Carl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shonman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the public hearing on the special one-day liquor license for the Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce's business after hours. The first one will be September 23rd, take place at the Barnett Center. The second one will be October 14th and take place at the Civic Arena. And the third one will be at November 4th, which takes place at Dakota Bank's headquarters. And this would be the special approval of that one-day liquor license for those three particular events taking place on September 23, October 14, and November 4. Can I get a motion to approve that? Those liquor
Move to
licenses?
approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Reif. Does anyone have anything on those? Then I would take a roll call vote, please. All in favor of these one-day liquor licenses, please say aye.
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 Opposed? And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got the public hearing on the special 5-day liquor license for the Act 2 Incorporated doing business as Aberdeen Community Theater at South Main Street on September 29th through October 3rd. This would be the approval of that 5-day liquor license. Can I get a motion to make that approval?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion from Councilman Lunsman and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Anyone got anything on this? Then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got another public hearing on the special one-day liquor license for the Aberdeen Downtown Association's Oktoberfest, which will take place on October 23rd at the Civic Arena. This would be for the approval of that single-day liquor license. Can I get a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Remley. Any discussion? And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
opposed? Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Now we've got a public hearing on the transfer of a retail on-off sale liquor license as well as the package off-sale liquor license from AUD Rentals LLC, which is at 420 South Main Street, to Abraham Hernandez and Catherine Infante, DBA Lounge 420 at 420 South Main Street. This would be for the approval of that transfer of the liquor license as stated in our packets. Can I get an approval for that transfer?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilman Remley. Does anyone have any discussion on this physical liquor license? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Move along to our agreement with HR Green to provide engineering services to the water treatment plant from September 2021 to December 2021. This would be the approval to authorize the city manager to sign that agreement. And Bob Braun is here to talk to us about that. Bob, what have you got?
There's times throughout the year that we have little smaller engineering projects that this will just be kind of an annual agreement we have, so we can get these taken care of and paid for for these smaller projects.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Ronayne. Any questions for Bob on that one? Sounds pretty straightforward. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got the update on our hazard mitigation plan. This would be possible approval of our printed mitigation projects list for the city of Aberdeen. Joe, are you going to tell us about that, or is this one for Robin?
I'll start. He might chime in a little bit. This is something that we've been working on. Every 5 years, the county is required to do their hazard mitigation plan, and that includes all incorporated cities, so we don't have to do our own. That's great. What a hazard mitigation plan is, it sets forth kind of how to react to natural disasters. Only natural disasters, usually if we think about flooding, tornadoes, those are two of them. But one of the things that was a pretty heavy topic in this year's meetings was drought and how to deal with drought. So to be eligible for funding, it has to be on the projects list. So that's why this list is so important. So you have in front of you 8 projects. The first 3 are new or at least new to the list this time. The remaining 5 were on there. And much as our trend tonight, we are going to ask you to add a 9th project to this list for the outdoor warning signals. So the tornado signals, we're going to do those as a city. We know we need to. This could put them on the list and get them ready for funding if we don't get them done first. So just a good opportunity for some alternative funding there towards these projects, but we recommend approval.
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Lunsman. Any questions for Joe on this one? Robin, for that matter? All right, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got the request to approve transit grant agreements and amendments with the South Dakota Department of Transportation, as well as to authorize the city manager to sign those grant documents. First of 4 was grant agreement 811843, which extends the grant period to 9/30 of 2022. Amendment number 1 of the grant, or the second amendment, would be extending the grant. Not entirely sure that's a different bullet point, to be honest with you. So I'm going to move along to the next, which is approval of section 533 now 98020 matching grant in the amount of $137,000, and the 4th would be the approval of section 5310 grant in the amount of $2,718.56. And again, this would approve and authorize the city manager to sign those documents for the applicable SDDOT grants. Joe, what have you got?
Yeah, this is a little confusing, but this is the type of grants that, quite frankly, these make our public transit system possible. So there are 4 different things. The first 2 grant agreements were approved in 2020. They're the current grants. All of the funding has not been able to be spent. The buses haven't arrived statewide for that, so the state has authorized us to move those forward. So 843 is a section 5339 matching grant for new buses, and then 863 is a matching grant for preventative maintenance. So again, those first 2 amendments are the current funding, and then for the funding for the next year, that's what 3 and 4 are. Again, 5339 grants and 5310 grants. The 5310 is a little bit different, and this is specific to some PPE type of equipment for keeping the buses sanitized and safe. But these are very important. We get these each year, and they're very critical. Staff recommends approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilman Remley. Upon further inspection, I see that they're slightly different. There's a single digit difference between those 2
It's tricky.
line items here. I thought someone had been overzealous with the copy and pastes. All right, any other questions for the city manager on this one? Carl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the payment request for the airport improvement projects. Payment 33, Helms and Associates, Taxiway C project 959.79. Payment 22, Helms and Associates, Taxiway Geometry 39,955.27. Payment number 4 to Sharp Enterprises, Taxiway Geometry project $740,605.68. Payment for another payment to Sharp Enterprises for Taxiway Geometry $131,214.24. And then finally, a payment to American Engineering to the taxiway geometry project for $15,520. This would authorize that approval and the city manager to sign those necessary documents. Rich is here to tell us all about those.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. We met at the airport board meeting on September 9th and discussed the following payments to be made. The first one is taxiway Charlie reconstruction. We've still got a little bit of work hanging out on that one, so that one is Helms and Associates. That's for $959.79. The second one is 7L2. That's again taxiway geometry improvements. That's our current project. This is Helms and Associates, and this is for resident engineering services, on-site observations, documentation, log keeping. 7L3 is taxiway geometry improvements, our current project, and that is for Sharp's pay estimate of $740,605.68, and that is material and labor expended to date. 7L4 is taxiway geometry improvements. This is a supplemental agreement. Now this is the one where, if you remember, we got the $5 million grant. Taxiway geometry improvements came to $3.5 million. And to use that remaining $1.5 million, we asked the FAA for a supplemental agreement to do some work on the general aviation apron. So that's what this one is for, and that's Sharp's pay estimate is $131,214.24. And 7L5 is taxiway geometry improvements, a current project, and that's for American Engineering and Testing Company. $15,520, and that's for core samples, beam breaks, and other associated testing for that project.
Move approval. Move to approve all 5 requests.
Rex, would you care to second that?
I'll second.
It's got a little bit of a delay there being on the television and all. It's got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Rux. Does anyone have any questions for the airport manager?
Quick question.
Josh, what have you got?
Rich, can you talk about the where we're at in this process? How much is left? And
we are seeing light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
So the original $3.5 million project, all of that concrete is finished. We still need to get the contractor, the painting contractor back, so we can do our taxiway enhanced painting and centerline painting. We need to get the cedars in for that. The supplemental agreement, they'll be pouring, what was it, 100,000? No, I can't remember. They're gonna pour concrete next Tuesday. So it's quite possible they might pull this off and be done by the end of September.
Thank you for the update.
Okay.
Rich, Carl, would you give us a roll call vote on those payments, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reith,
aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the review and approval of the bills for the list for September 20th. Can I get a motion to pay the bills?
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Lunsman. Carl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Reith,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got our city manager's report, and here to tell us all about that is Joe Gaa.
A reminder, just kind of a little bit of ahead of time, we'll probably remind you again, but we'll have a council meeting on October 4th, and then probably starting the next day, you'll start to see department heads and myself disappear. Maybe Councilman Rux is going to go to the Municipal League Conference that'll be held starting, I think it starts officially Wednesday and goes through the end of the week. So to be kind of a skeleton crew around here on that, but we'll again remind you of that. And then just a note, the first Northern football game was about a week and a half ago now, and we feel like it was successful. Nearly 6,000 people were there. We had a lot of extra staff on, especially in law enforcement and the EMS. And luckily, nothing was needed. We were probably had too many people on, but that was good. We're continuing to work with Northern on what our contingency plans are moving forward. But one of the commitments we made was to the neighbors to try and keep the neighborhoods accessible, and I think everything was good there. Again, we encourage you, if you see some things, to let us know, but we're going to keep working diligently like that first game. We think the next couple games will also be quite well attended, so we're going to keep up with what we're doing, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Joe. And before we move to adjourn, I had shared with each of you what the county was looking to do in support of the resolution to support the redistricting effort. I don't think we'd need much in the way of significant changes to show our support, but if people have a generally good feeling, I would say that maybe Ryan could take a stab at personalizing that for our group here.
I sure could.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else before we move to adjourn? All right, then I would take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Rux. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
nay.